Is Iran, which has been in a state of tension with the Israeli and U.S. governments for years, entering the war on the Palestinian side? Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Abdullahian said, "We will no longer be a spectator to Israel's moves against the Gaza Strip." For U.S. President Joe Biden, who has repeatedly warned the Iranian government, which is known to offer support to illegal paramilitary organizations such as Hezbollah and Hamas, Abdullahian's recent statements were the last straw. After that, the second aircraft carrier of the United States also set off for the eastern Mediterranean. Many Muslim states in the Middle East have taken action over the Israel-Hamas war, which has been going on for a week and a half. During this period, it was a matter of great curiosity what the attitude of Iran, one of the effective powers in the Middle East, would be. U.S. President Joe Biden, who stated that they were directly on Israel's side, sailed the USS Gerald R. to the eastern Mediterranean immediately after warning the Iranian government not to intervene in any possible way. Ford shipped a model aircraft carrier. However, decreeing all the warnings of the United States, Iran is increasing its insistence on direct involvement in the war every day. In a statement video released by Iran on social media, he stated that the situation in the Middle East could create irrepressible problems if Israel does not stop the airstrikes it is conducting in Gaza. However, the most unexpected move from the Iranian government was the meeting they organized with the Saudi Arabian delegation. A statement made by the Iranian President Raisi, who decided to send a delegation to Saudi Arabia for the first time in a long time, where tensions between them have been increasing for more than 7 years, shocked everyone before this visit. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, who personally held a meeting with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman a few days ago, expressed his discomfort with the U.S. support for Israel. President Raisi's statements, which drew attention to the importance of the unity of the Islamic world, further inflamed the debate about whether other states in the Middle East should also join the war. Do you think that the multiplication of the possibility of an Islamic union to be established against Israel after this move will put Israel in a difficult situation? And is this alliance formed against Israel, which is allied with the United States, strong enough to completely move the stones in the Middle East? Today, the deputy chairman of the Iranian National Security Committee said, "Israel's entry into Gaza is our red line, proving that Iran has begun preparations for a possible intervention." Acting very soon after this statement, Iranian Chief of General Staff Mohammad Bakiri intimidated U.S. President Joe Biden by explaining that the Iranian armed forces are ready for defense as well as ready for war. In addition, the permits of many high-ranking commanders and thousands of soldiers in the Iranian army, which has taken a large number of warplanes and unmanned aerial vehicles out of hangars, have been cancelled. Iran's mobilization of its entire army, as if implementing some kind of mobilization decision, has strengthened the possibility of opening another new front against Israel in the near future. Then, the people of Israel began to flee from Israel. The fact that there is a strong demand to leave the country at Tel Aviv airport and possible sea routes has resonated all over the world. In our recent exchanges, we have expressed that the probability of Iran entering the war will increase. This assessment of ours, which includes a possible move against Israel by the illegal paramilitary Hezbollah organization, which has had numerous contacts with the Iranian government for many years, was confirmed as of today. You can also follow us to see the future now. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Abdullahian, who is on a regional tour covering critical countries in the Middle East, personally met with the leader of the Hezbollah organization, Hassan Nasrallah, while in Lebanon. The meeting held by the Hezbollah leader with Foreign Minister Abdullahian, who has already stated that the Al-Aqsa flood of Hamas is a legitimate move, once again proved Iran-Hezbollah relations. But the point that really detailed this relationship was the findings of Israel's attack on a Hezbollah headquarters in Lebanon. The claims that the missiles used by Hezbollah are Iranian-made have resonated all over the world. In other words, It has started to be talked that Iran participated in the war indirectly. If Iran actively enters the war, the Iranian army, which already consists of more than 500,000 active military personnel, also has a very large air force inventory. Iran, which has the third largest military power in the Middle East, is also known to be in contact with a large number of paramilitary formations besides the army. On the other hand, the Israeli army, which has about 200,000 active soldiers, has the greatest support provided by the U.S. government in the war. The Israeli army has so far achieved a much greater area of dominance over Hamas. But could Iran's involvement completely eliminate Jewish settlements in the Middle East? Besides the possibility of the Iranian state entering the war, it seems that it has received a lot of support from the public. Recently, one of the senior Hezbollah executives, Sheikh Naim Qasim, addressed the Iraqi and Iranian in the Lebanese capital Beirut. Statements from the head of the illegal Hezbollah organization, who expressed that they were fully ready to intervene in Israel when the time came, further increased tensions. The Hezbollah organization, which is known to have been supported by Iran for a long time, stated that preparations are underway on the Lebanese border. Very soon after these statements, Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Abdullahian began a tour of the region, where he was scheduled to visit Qatar, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. The Iranian Foreign Minister, who reached Qatar as of yesterday, met with the Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. During the meeting in the capital Doha, he stated that if Israel tries a possible ground operation against Palestine, they cannot guarantee that the conflict will not turn into a regional war. Iranian Foreign Minister Abdullahian, who also held a meeting with the head of the Hamas political bureau Haniya in Qatar, claimed that the attacks called the Al-Aqsa flood by the illegal Hamas organization were a legitimate defense, suggesting that they would not allow efforts to Judaize the Middle East, and that the Al-Aqsa mosque could not be divided. Will the war started by the illegal Hamas organization, whose main goal is to turn Jerusalem into a Muslim land, turn into a major religious war in the near future? Time will tell us that. However, the U.S. government is determined not to change its position on its support for Israel. At this very moment, acting on the statements of the Iranian Foreign Ministry, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan stated that the possibility that Iran will enter into direct deconfliction in the Israel-Hamas war is not an issue that can be ignored. Sullivan, who said that U.S. President Joe Biden acted quickly and decisively against the Iranian threat during this process, claimed that the aircraft carrier sent by the U.S. for Israel was an extremely necessary move. Following these statements from the White House, the U.S. Central Command commissioned the USS Eisenhower Model, second aircraft carrier, to deliver to the Eastern Mediterranean on the orders of U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin personally. Do you think that these supports provided by the United States will be enough for Israel's resistance against a possible Muslim union?